do we think that Fortnite esports will die?
Altogether, no, because there are going to be people. This happened in Overwatch also. There will be people who go from Fortnite to Valorant and they will go, oh, I suck at Valorant. Shroud's kicking my ass, right? All these other like Counter-Strike transports, the people who are better at tactical shooters will be better than these players. These players will get frustrated. They will not get the big fat paycheck that they think they're going to get from some millionaire that enters Valorant. And then they're going to go back to Fortnite because that's what they were good at in the first place. That will happen. It will probably take about a year to see that happen, that entire cycle happen. But yeah, I think in the short term, the Fortnite more than any other game, Fortnite and Overwatch, I think, are the two most susceptible to losing professional players to something like Valorant because people really believe in Riot. Something I said on Twitter the other day and Ninja even responded to is like, Riot didn't have to pay anyone to be in that alpha. Even Apex Legends had to pay $1 million just for Ninja to stream on day one. And they didn't have to pay him to participate and record his Valorant gameplay because they had built enough trust equity in developing League of Legends and making League of Legends the biggest esport in the world, right? So yeah, I think that there will be a significant impact, but I think just because there will be players that make that transition and don't do it successfully, they will come back to Fortnite because they still want to make money at the end of the day as esports players. And so I think that we'll see a pretty big hit in 2020 for Fortnite esports, but I don't think it's the death altogether.
I also think it depends on what you think of as Fortnite esports, because for me, and this, like, people who are actually super into competitive Fortnite will probably disagree with me. But for me, Fortnite esports has always been more about a lot of like young influencers and YouTubers playing the game anyway. And I think Fortnite is going to take a hit from Valorant, but piggybacking on what Jacob said about people going over and then returning to either Fortnite or Overwatch or CS or whatever they played previously, I also think that the thing to remember about Fortnite's competitive player base is that it's comparatively like very young. Even people we saw entering the competitive scene, which is why I think it's not shocking that Psalm, who's 25, again, is trying to seek like something that's more stable and maybe historically a company that has a slightly better, record around an esports infrastructure. But in terms of who plays Fortnite and who kind of like enters competitive, I think you're still going to get those really, really young players entering their competitive scene from the casual player base, whether it's what they want, like whether it's what Epic wants or whether it makes for a really like healthy, super competitive scene is a different story. But I think by nature, Fortnite is already a bit different than what we see from a lot of other esports infrastructures. And I use like the word esports actually very loosely because I think the entirety of Fortnite competitive was always a very loose infrastructure from my perspective to begin with.
Yeah, if you're someone like Clicks or whoever it may be, right? Like I think become like a Ninja-esque figure where like you're good enough to entertain, but you don't have to be the top competitive player. You're just trying to make a longevity career and influencer.
Yeah, I'm talking about like the actual competition.
Right.
Fortnite Champion Series, not streaming.
I know. I don't think you can separate those though.
They actually are very hard.
What I'm asking is what Epic presents as Fortnite Champion Series. Here's money for a competition, Fortnite World Cup events. I wonder if that will decline over time, whether people will not compete in those tournaments anymore.
That would be up to Epic. I think as long as they provide a ton of money for it, I think people will show up.
Yes, I think it's tied to the money. I think the $3 million was the singular selling point for the Fortnite World Cup in 2019. And if that remains so for the next Fortnite World Cup, which unfortunately, as I mentioned before, there was probably an announcement somewhere, but unfortunately, we couldn't get it because of the pandemic that's going on right now. But the next one needs to have a similar prize pool in order for people to be interested.
Yeah, I think like I said, I think that if you're a Fortnite player right now, your best thing is to try to make yourself into an influencer.
Got it.
I don't think you're going to Twitch game easily as you think. I think that can be said for Solemn as well as others. I don't think you're going to make that switch super easy because I don't think Fortnite is anything like Valorant in terms of gameplay. And maybe if you're some gifted mechanical born fantastically reflex whatever hand-eye coordination god, maybe
you have the hands.
Maybe you do make the switch, but it's going to be a lot harder than I think people are going to give it credit for. So I think your best involvement is to invest in yourself as an influencer and try to make that transition more than trying to swap games. I don't think it's going to magically fix your problems.
Use those hands to tell us in the comments below what you think about Fortnite competitive. Are you interested? Do you care about the Fortnite Champion Series? Did you want a next Fortnite World Cup? How much money will it take for you to be interested and for other esports competitors and influencers to be interested? Let us know all your thoughts about Fortnite competitive below.